Here we go. Greetings. This night I felt inspired to embody a different role, which is called the Red Dragon. And I feel very connected to dragon energy. And according to the Mayan dream spell, Red Dragon is my hidden helper. So I feel very connected to this archetype. And in this holiday of Halloween, All Saints, All Souls days, I felt that it is perfect timing to bring this archetype forth, because this time of season, this fall, this November, when all leaves are falling from the trees and all the energy goes back into the roots, and it is a season of Scorpio, to which I am also very much connected because my sun sign is Scorpio, and Scorpio has many forms. It is also an eagle, it is also a snake, and it is also a death. But death is transformation, it is not an end. Energy cannot be created or destroyed, it can only be transformed. So this is perfect time for inner deep transformations, for inner alchemy, for revealing the hidden secrets, the hidden powers. And yes, Scorpio connects both upper worlds as a eagle, which allows to connect to higher self, to see everything from many different perspectives. Now also a Scorpio who crawls on the ground in the middle realm, where we're most focused as humans. And also there's a snake who can move into a deeper places, into the underworld. And yes, it is said that it is in these days the veil between those different worlds are thinnest. So it is perfect timing for revelations, to see through various surfaces, various projections, again to go back to the roots. And the red dragon represents our potential, our primordial power, also called Kundalini power, that sleeping potential within our first root chakra. So when all this grand process of creation occurred, first of all, everything was created from the one mind, and it projected its ideas, its thoughts, and then those thoughts get densified many times until we got this very dense experience of physical reality where we forget from where it all came from and who we really are when we born in this density. There was natural process of forgetting and then opportunities to remember and to reawaken our divine powers that is dormant within our subconsciousness, unconsciousness. And the path of alchemy is to bring your light of consciousness into your subconsciousness, unconsciousness, and then identify what is there, what is behind the scenes affecting your life, your feelings, your actions, your relationships, and so on. So once we get conscious on those qualities, those hidden qualities, then we can, first of all, use them ideally for the good, for the best. We can transform them, we can uplift them into their next evolutionary expressions. So this Kundalini energy is also evolutionary energy. And yes, whenever God limits itself, closes itself into this very tiny identification with the limited self, with the conditioned human being, still there is all of its divine power concentrated within that, and that energy inevitably seeks to reconnect with its original source. So whenever we are experiencing suffering in this world, in this life, whenever life hits us hard, and whenever we are consciously starting to do spiritual practices, then we are assisting this energy to expand and rise again. So it is always integral. Our animal nature, our sexual energy is also very universal creative energy, which can evolve. But first we need to fully accept it, acknowledge it, embrace it, and then guide it in the most intelligent way that we can. That's why self-development is so important, and also spiritual practice, awakening your consciousness, which then can yes, from the higher perspective, guide your human nature into more light, into becoming fuller expression of your true self. And it is whole life journey. So it is also good time to reclaim various parts of yourself that maybe you rejected, maybe you condemned some parts of yourself, that maybe you judge some parts of yourself, maybe some parts of yourself is judging you and you don't like it and you fight it, or feel being shut down, and so on. So it is good time to revisit those parts of yourself, pay more loving attention to those parts and invite them to join in the holistic harmony of your being. Hug all those parts with your unconditional love, because unconditional love is the all encompassing energy of existence, and there is nothing bigger than that. So, whenever we embrace something with true unconditional love, just acknowledging the fact that everything is part and playing a part in one existence. So, everything is integral, and also all the forms, all the names is also changeful. So again, we are inviting our energies to evolve, to transform. Yeah, only through limiting beliefs we are afraid of those parts, we are afraid of our fear. And we think if we fully meet with our fear and surrender, in a sense, yeah, to fear, but yeah, we can surrender by involving into the fear. And yes, that is a feeding of that fear. But we can also surrendering in our knowledge that we are untouchable by the fear, so we can let it pass through us, and then we realize its illusionary nature. And then that energy that fear was holding is released and integrated back into pure love, into pure consciousness, and into your pure creative power. So yeah, we usually afraid that if we fully embrace our shadows, we become them. But I'm talking about embracing from the fully awake, fully lucid position, when you are just as the loving father, loving mother, accepting its children's and holding space for them to unravel, to heal. So that's why we come to our wounds, we come to our ignorance, we face our ignorance, and in that light, that ignorance can transform into insight, into wisdom, into new clarity. Yes, and fear can transform into self-empowerment and deeper love for life. So yeah, it is good to also dig deep into your core intentions, why you are here, why are you focused in this way, what really moves you, what really keeps you alive. And yes, it is love, it is compassion, it is creative passion. Many spiritual teachers like trash the passion, demonize the passion, and of course it can have very low, very toxic expressions. That's why practice alchemy is so relevant, so beneficial, because then we can work with that energy, cycle that energy, recycle that energy, and yes, transform it into higher expressions, more aligned with, again, that universal love, expressions of passion, passion based on compassion. When we raise our Kundalini, our vital sexual energy, into our higher centers, then it starts to express more in those higher ways. And of course, lower ways also has its place, but when you are conscious and when you are working with yourself, you balance those parts of yourself, so all of those parts can have their harmonious proportion, harmonious balance between everything else. And yes, and then you can really experience that universal harmony of life, and becoming one with that deeper and deeper. So alchemy is also about making closer connection between spirit and lower self with the middle self. Yes, and then by result, more and more unity is your first-hand experience, and it is very wonderful. So there are many practices that we can do to merge those opposite energies, like within our body, within our energetical body. So our upper part is like a plus, and our lower part, the bottom of our body, is like a minus. And yes, we are like a power plant, and we can circulate our energy by using our mind combined with breath. So there is, for example, one simple technique called microcosmic orbit from Taoist lineage, which is also focused on inner alchemy. And yeah, briefly, this technique is about circulating your energy from the bottom of your body. You can visualize like an energy body, energy ball, or just energy that with inhale goes up the spine, from the back of your body, from the spine up to the crown, to the third eye. Your tongue is under the palate. I forgot what it's called, and then it is a bridge. It is an energetical bridge, and then through exhale, you allow that energy to drop down through the front path of energy. So the back path is connected also to yang energy, to fiery, energizing, masculine energy, and the front path is connected to yin, to more soft, watery, calming energy. And so when you do breaths like this, meditations like this, yes, you can feel how your energy becomes purified through each cycle. You can, the more you practice, the more you feel it. The more you feel the energy, and the more you feel how lower becomes higher and higher again, integrates back into lower. And yeah, and by cycling energy like that, it becomes more and more pure, more and more nourishing. And yes, and with that you can do anything you want. But the point is that you don't need to always throw your all energy away. If you have a lot of energy, it doesn't mean that you have to do something. You can just sit with that energy and allow that energy to again nourish you energetically, activate your chakras, and assist you in higher realizations, accessing that higher perspective of an ego, and so on. So yeah, it is really good to balance your energy management, how much energy you just throw away and focus only on the various symbols, various forms, and seeking through those forms, and then how much you allow your energy to be preserved, to be cultivated within. So yeah, that balancing is very, very important for our evolution, to always feel this balance between taking and giving. To reconcile various opposites, various extremes, to bring everything into the center. And then the more you will feel your center of power, your center of clarity, your center of love. So, yeah, you can also do the opposite orbits by lifting more feminine energy and calming your masculine energy. So it is a calming, relaxing cycle that helps to settle down. And you also can do just washing through your central channel. So between the back and the front, there is a middle, there is a central channel where all the 7 major chakras is. And you can just, with your inhale, visualize how your energy rises through all those chakras up to the crown, gathers the highest energy of pure light, pure bliss, and then with exhale, feel how this bliss are integrating into your lower centers. So again, with inhale, you can feel like the most growth energy of yours, most dense, most heavy energy of yours is being filtered through each of the chakra. And when you bring that purified energy down, see how it nourishes each chakra and upgrades that chakra. So, yes, this dense power, this matter that we are experiencing, this animalistic vitality contains a lot of energy. It is our resource. The negative energy is our resource of power. So it is important to form a positive relationship with the negative energy, which in essence is not bad, it is not evil, it is just contractive, condensing energy. But of course, when we go too far into that, then that energy gets twisted in many weird ways, creates even more darkness to the point of where we suffering when our life becomes suffering. But again, it is very, very condensed energy, which actually also guides us into awakening, inspires us to expand our awareness, to transform and uplift each other, and so on. So it is the power of contrast, because the lowest of lowest reveals the highest of the highest, because everything is one. It is all one thing. And yes, I had once very powerful transformative experience in the ayahuasca ceremony long time ago now. It was my second ceremony, and it was the most intense, most powerful one. So in that ceremony, I expressed my intention to fully step into the unknown and trust in life, trust in the universe also more fully. And then, yes, it was very, very mad ceremony, and I experienced the depths of hell and also the heights of heavens. But first of all, I had to go through hell and fully experience death. So it was like the death was pushing me into the corner where I had to release all of my unconscious programs of resistance. Yes, and while I was resisting, yeah, it was really hellish experience. But eventually I let go. I come into peace, into acceptance with my death, and yeah, and then experience became more heaven-like. Yeah, it shifted from hell into paradise, and I was almost fully convinced that I was dead, that I already lived this life. But and for a while, even after the peak of this experience, I felt like this reality is truly not real. It was like a computer simulation that I am creating in my afterlife. But when I started to talk to people, commune with different people, I again started to feel more grounding and more connection and more reality to this illusion of physical life. So yeah, it is truly an illusion, it is truly a dream, and I experienced that yes, that I was not lost anything by coming into that realm of spirit. I saw that in spirit everyone is there, everyone is present, nothing is lost. I'm not losing connection to this world. In that, I felt even more connection to the world. But of course, I also realized that I really want to be focused in this dream and express my life within this dream, to not just be in one unified mandala with everything, but also to have this body and to be able to greet and hug each aspect of this mandala privately. So it is such a gift, such a honor, such a joy. But yes, the essence that I realized from this experience was realization that what really makes this illusion true, real, is our connection, our shared experience, our shared love. Yes, this is the energy that makes this miracle, that allows to feel what seems to be unreal real. but from the very pure place. It is unity, because yes, the one thing is to believe that all of these names and forms that we were taught from our childhood is only reality. So it is a product of forgetfulness, of ignorance. And yes, and sometimes we come to a point when we start to feel more and more emptiness in our reality, in our sense of reality. Because yes, we need to acknowledge the source, which which is real, which is true. And then from that perspective of source, we realize that this world of names and forms is extension of that, what is real. It is not contained within names and forms, but it is expressed through names and forms. So then you have this liberated and empowered experience of life, this human life, when you fully in this world, but not limited by this world. So yes, we are light beings. We are rays of light. Again, when you do your spiritual practices, you can reveal to yourself all the spectrum of your being. Because yes, those central chakras truly represents us as the ray of light. And we can trace that ray to its source, and where we find ourselves as eternal, infinite sparks of Creator. So then we become conscious co creators with all that is. So I invite you into this contemplation of reunion with all of yourself. You cannot push anything away, really. The harder you will try to push something away, the more powerfully and smashingly it will return to you. So instead, accept everything that is arising through loving witnessing, and in that pure loving witnessing, you will see how all of those things, all of those expressions transforms, blooms like a lotus from the dirt, because it is the ultimate destiny of all expressions of life, to reach back to the source and express the source again in this eternal cycle of here and now. yes, you can really store that energy that you accumulated through your spiritual practices. For example, when you do the microcosmic orbit, you can feel more when you're raising energy from your through your back. You can feel the, as Taoist called, washing, where your energy gets washed, and then you're bringing energy down. You can feel what Taoists call bathing, and where that energy settles and gets absorbed by your solar plexus, by your stomach, your energetical stomach. And that's how you can start to form your light body. You can create an avatar for your source consciousness, for your true free will, which is in your pure consciousness. But yes, first of all, you need to realize, untangle your consciousness from all assumptions. You need to untangle your sense of self from all names and forms. And then, with that pure self, you can truly, consciously, and freely again connect to all names and forms. And then you can use it in very genius, creative, inspired, and loving ways. You become very fluid because your true self has no form. It is really formless, but in that formlessness, it can take any form that is relevant for each fresh moment, for each fresh situation. So that's the integration. That's the spiritual integration. It is not only about ascension, because only by focusing on ascension you can go to the to its limits, because ascension is nourished by descension. That's why I emphasized the microcosmic orbit, because it is, yes, it is ascending and integrating and building up your spine, your foundation, for new and higher realizations, for deeper appreciations of this relative journey of evolution. So thank you very much for receiving this special transmission, and maybe I will do more of these. I really enjoy seeing myself in this form, embodying this archetype. So yeah, dragons is about purifying our sexual energy and inspiring that energy, yes, to evolve, to connect all the different realms, all the different densities, to move freely between lower self, higher self, middle self, between constellations of the heavens and deep realms on the earth. And yes, for that freedom, you need to really transform your relationship with death and your relationship to change by realizing that you are changeless. You can fully accept all the changes with trust. So yes, trust, faith is also very, very crucial in the process of deep transformations. Yes, trust is what gives space for change. Trust gives opportunity for change. And yes, we saw that in our culture, in our civilization, our trust decreased dramatically. Yes, it is also the product of forgetfulness, of original source, of original harmonizing principle, also called Tao. And we had various experiences of betrayal, manipulation, and so on. So we become very alienated to each other, to life itself. And of course, that experience brings us wisdom, brings us alertness. Yes, it is really shakes us into being more conscious. As the Jesus expressed, be alert like a snake, but simultaneously be innocent like a doves. So that's the right balance. So yes, you need to be aware. You sometimes need to set the boundaries to maintain your integrity, your inner values, but also above all that, to hold this faith in life, that there is always higher truth, there is always higher perspective in which everything perfectly integrates, everything belongs in divine plan. So whenever you are going through deep transformations, whenever your various ego constructs and walls around your heart starts to cook and break, just remember your love for life and have faith in that love, that you are now consciously choosing life, choosing love, and choosing unity with the divine. So you fully appreciate your life, you fully take responsibility for your life, but simultaneously you are giving your life to God, which is that macro portion of yourself. It is all yourself. And yes, faith in that is like a bridge into state of truly knowing that, truly being that. And it is the point. All the practices is like adjusting to that. But the point is being that, not just practices for the sake of practices. Because then the only thing you get is more of the practice, which can be limiting. So yeah, all of those special practices, meditations, and so on just brings you on the path, and then you need to expand your understanding of that practice, of that same alchemical process, to see it as natural process that occurs throughout your life very naturally, like the seasons of life. So there also comes various seasons of your transformations, your personality metamorphosis. Sometimes, yes, you feel drawn back into yourself, and again, everything feels empty. And that's when you are in the phase of cocoon. So, yes, this time, this fall season is, and winter also is good time for that. To not just be at the border when you are not going into the world and not fully diving into yourself. So that's the worst state in which you can be. So if you feel drawn inside, then go all the way. Find the deeper source within and let that source to reconfigurate you, transform you, and again inspire you to connect with the world in a truly true, alive, passionate way. And whenever you feel overwhelmed by everything, by the world, by the emotions, by the energy, it is also good opportunity to balance this energy with serenity. As I saw recently from one of the X-Men movies, where was a teaching on how to control power. So that main master, I forgot his name, he said that the most of power is between rage and serenity. So if you have too much rage, you need to balance that with serenity. If you have lots of negative experiences, you still need to find some positive experiences or imagine, to practice your imagination, your dreaming, your lucid dreaming. And yes, and then balancing, finding that center of power. And of course, yes, if you feel too much passive, then you can start to challenge yourself more, to do something new, to connect with new people and so on, which refreshes your energy. And yes, and if you don't know what to do with your power, what to do with all that you experience, also the most optimal way then is to bring everything back into neutrality. Just neutrally observe everything. And in that sense of unity, allow everything to balance. Allow everything to nourish this sense of balance, this sense of unity, isness. And then, again, all will be clear on what steps goes next, on what is your true will. So again, connect all the different parts of yourself, and it includes all the world, all the universe. Connect all of those with this single and main divine name, I am. And then you will see clearly. Then your true will be clear to you as you. And with that, I will conclude this transmission. So again, thank you very much. Enjoy yourself very much, and see you in the moment. Blessings.